Alright, so in these videos I'm going to go over the review, hopefully to help you for the test. So I will tell you in a little bit here, you're going to hear some bells. I'm doing this during a passing period, so yeah, just a heads up. When that happens, I'll stop. Okay? Solving the proportion, we're just going to cross multiply. So this should be review here. So 8 times x, 8x. 10 times 24 is 240. Divided by 8. 240 divided by 8 is 30. Number 2, 3x times 4x, I'm just going to write that out, equals 8 times 24. Grab a calculator real quick. 8 times 24 is 192. Okay, so 3x times 4x is 12x squared. Now, there's no term with just an x, so I can actually use square roots here. Just divide by 12, I get x squared equals 16. And then I take the square of both sides, and I get x equals 4, but also negative 4. When you take the square root, two numbers that multiply to give me 16, well, that's 4 and 4, but it could also be negative 4 and negative 4. So that's why it's plus or minus. Number 3. Cross multiply 3 times 5x minus 6, and you do have to put parentheses around the 5x minus 6, equals 72. Distribute 15x minus 18 equals 72. Add 18. Divide by 15, x equals 6. Okay. 4. A lot of x's in this one. So we're going to have x times x plus 2 equals x plus 5 times x minus 6. Distribute the x. I'm going to get x squared plus 2x equals, and then this one I've got a FOIL. So x squared minus 6x. I'm not going to write that down because I know I'm going to combine it with positive 5x. So negative 6x plus 5x is going to be negative 1x. Negative x minus 30. Now it looks pretty confusing there, so I'm going to get my x squareds by itself. Basically, I'm going to get one side equal to 0. So I'm going to move x squared over, and I'm going to move 2x over. So I get x squared, but look what happens here. X squared minus x squared, those cancel as well. So I'm going to get 0 equals negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3x. Minus 30. Now just solve for x. Add 30. Divide by negative 3, and you get x equals negative 10. Done. Okay. Cross multiply x times x minus 5 equals 36. Distribute, I get x squared minus 5x equals 36. Get it equal to 0. X squared minus 5x minus 36 equals 0. Now I got a factor. So two numbers that multiply to give me negative 36 and add to give me negative 5. I'd look at the multiplying first, so start looking at numbers that multiply to get me negative 36. So I got negative 36 and 1, that does not add to negative 5. Negative 18 and 2, that does not add to negative 5. Negative 12 and 3, that does not add to negative 5. Negative 9 and 4, and there it is. So x minus 9, x plus 4, but we're not done yet. Now I got to set both of those equal to 0. Basically the sign just flips. So add 9, I get x equals 9. Subtract 4, I get 9, x equals negative 4. Two answers there. Okay. Very similar problem here. X squared plus 8x. Yes, I should have probably written that first, but you've seen that now 3 times in a row. So I'm just going to go ahead and do 2 steps at once. X times x is x squared. X times 8x equals 20. Subtract the 20 equals 0. The two factors here. Add or multiply to negative 20. Add to 8. That'd be negative 2 and 10. And then set them both equal to 0. Get x equals 2, and x equals negative 10. moving on to away from proportions, well, sort of. Now we're going to set up our own proportions. Okay, on a scale drawing of Spencer's house, the master bedroom has dimensions of 24 inches by 33 inches. If the scale for the drawing is 3 inches equals 5 feet, what are the actual dimensions of Spencer's master bedroom? So 3 inches to 5 feet is what I'm going to use as my kind of my similarity ratio, if you will. Well, I have to do two of these. I got to do one for the width and one for the length. So I got two separate problems here. So 3 inches to 5 feet equals 24 inches. Well, inches goes on top according to my ratio over x. Cross multiply, I get 3x equals 24 times 5 is 120. Divide by 3, I get x equals 40. So it's 40 feet, right? Because bottom is feet. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the 33 inches. I guess I'll use a different letter, y. So 3y equals whatever 33 times 5 is. It's 165. Divided by 3, I get 55. So 40 feet by 55 feet are the actual dimensions of his master bedroom. Number 8, a certain recipe that feeds 8 people calls for 3 cups of flour. How many cups of flour are needed to feed 20 people? So this right here gives me a ratio, kind of like that. So 8 people are fed by 3 cups of flour. But I want to feed 20 people. Well, let's be proportional here. So I'm going to put people on top. So 20 on top, x on the bottom, cross multiply. 8x equals 60. Divide by 8, you get 7.5. And that would be cups of flour. Okay. All right, so that was lesson 1 pretty much. Using ratios, solving proportions, that kind of thing. Lesson 2 was similarity with polygons. So complete a similarity statement, determine whether or use similar figures to make conclusions, and determine whether 2 figures are similar. So I'm telling you that this polygon is similar to this polygon. That helps me answer all this. So angle K is equal to or congruent to angle F. That's just using the statement. Angle SMF, which is technically just angle M, SMF, the middle letter is the one we care about. So angle M is congruent to angle P, but I'm going to just be consistent, so I'm going to say TPK, which is just the same as angle P. Okay. DK over AF. Now we're talking sides, and sides are not congruent, they're proportional, which is why you see fractions. So DK over AF, you see how those are in the same position on each polygon, equals what over FM? So what is matching up with FM over here? And that'd be KP. And then TD to DK. So now I'm just looking at a ratio of 2 sides in one figure to the corresponding sides in the other figure. So TD to DK matches up with what matches up with TD? SA. Okay. So that's just using the statement to help you make conclusions. 13 through 16, we're going to use these two, given that ABCD is similar to NJKM. Okay, so A and N match up, B and J match up, C and K, and D and M. Okay, so I marked those to help me answer some of these questions. So measure of angle N, so I'm looking for a number here, is equal to, well, N matches up with A. So keep that in mind. So that's useful information. Angle A is 120. There you go. So angle N is also 120. Angle C is what we're looking for. So let's go back to angle J here is 60. And angle M is 72. And I just found N was 120. Angle C matches up with angle K, which I don't know yet. But this is a quadrilateral, so there's 360 degrees, so I'm just going to do a real quick subtraction. 360 minus 60 minus 120 minus 72, I get 108. So that's 108, so angle C is also 108. Okay? AB over what is the same as CB over KJ? So this is basically the same question I asked you in the front. So CB over KJ, I'm looking at the one that I know. So CB over KJ. AB matches up with NJ in the other figure. Notice how I didn't use the picture to help me here. I used the statement. If I'm given the statement, use it. So AD equals 12. Which side is proportional with AD? Again, if this is 12, what matches up with AD? We'll just look up here. AD matches up with NM. There we go. Okay. 17 through 19, determine whether the two figures are similar. I did not tell you that they are. You have to determine if they are. If they are, you're going to answer these two questions. If they're not, explain why not. Okay? So let's look at the first one. Well, it's equilateral, so this is actually a rhombus. You don't know that yet. Well, you might know that. This is also a rhombus because they're all 10. So if you set up a proportion, 8 to 10, they're all going to be 8 to 10, so all the sides are proportional. So to check for similarity, again, this is different than like side angle side, side side side, angle angle. Those only work with triangles. These are not triangles. To check for similarity, I have to have the sides proportional, and I have to have the angles congruent. So I need both of those to be true to be similar. Well, we already said the sides are proportional because 8 to 10, 8 to 10, 8 to 10, 8 to 10, they're all the same. Now we have to check the angles. Well, I'm given that these are both 110, but again, it's a quadrilateral, so 360 degrees. These are the same. So 360 minus 110 minus 110, since there's two of them, is 140. Divided by 2, I get 70. So they're both 70. Right? So then over here, these are both 70. What are these? Well, we just did the math. We're just going to do it backwards. 360 minus 70 is 120. Divided by 2 is, or sorry, 220. Divided by 2 is 110. Are the angles congruent? They are. So they are similar. My similarity ratio is 8 to 10, but we want to reduce that, so it's going to be 4 to 5. Okay? And I did say I have the first figure to the second, so this is the first, this is the second. That's why it's 4 to 5. The statement, you have a couple options here. I'm just going to say A, B, C, D. It's similar to, well, A is 110. It's got to match up with either one of the 110s. It really doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to say F, G, H, E. I could say H, G, F, E. I could say H, E. But if I say A first, I have to start with either F or H. So it doesn't really matter in this case. Sometimes it will matter, but this one it does not matter because they're symmetrical. Yeah. 18, two rectangles. So I want to check to see if the sides are proportional and if the angles are congruent. Well, the angles are all congruent. They're all 90. That's checking. Now I want to check the sides. 20, smaller side, 30 is the smaller side, so 20 over 30 reduces to 2/3. And then 36 and 52. How do I reduce that? I can divide by 2, so that would give me 18 over 26. I can reduce that again. Divide by 2, that's going to be 9 over 13. That is not 2/3. Sides are not proportional, so they are not similar. Okay, so I can't give you a similarity ratio. I can't give you a similarity statement. Why are they not similar? Because the sides are not proportional. Okay. Another set of rectangles here. Okay. Angles again are good. they're all 90. Now, 15, what does 15 match up with? A lot of people are going to match it up with 30 because it's in the same part of the rectangle. But 15 is smaller than 18, right? 30 is bigger than 25. No way 15 matches up with 30. 15 is going to match up with 25. Reduce that. You can take 5 out of both. You get 3 over 5. And now I'm going to match 18 up with 30. Reduce that. You can take 6 out of both, which is 3 over 5. Okay? And with it being a rectangle, we would know this is 18, and this is 15, and this is 30, and this is 25. So those would all be proportional as well. So the sides are proportional. So the similarity ratio is 3 over 5. The statement is, again, you have some options just like this one. I'll say KLMJ. Just randomly chose the first one. And then KL is naming a side of 18. So I need to name a side of 30 over here, so ONQP. You could have gone other ways too. You could have said NOPQ, you could have said QPON. You just had to name one of these sides first, since I named the long side first here. You don't need to do that because they are similar, so no need to explain why they're not. I'm going to go ahead and stop there for this video. Next video, we're going to move on to page 2.